Dorian Watson.
One, two, three. Can y'all hear me? Okay. Yeah. All right. All right, I am Dorian, and going along with her theme of go get it, we all know that it takes courage to go and get whatever your dreams are, whatever that it is, if it's owning a home, finances. But I found for myself that it took courage for me to transform into that person that could be ready for the thing that I'm trying to go get. Because we want to go get a house, but we don't have a homeowner's mentality. We want to have that love relationship, but we don't have that mentality to be with someone in that capacity of a relationship. In 2010, I went through a divorce. It's been 9 years now. I went through a divorce. It was an abusive relationship on all levels, any kind of form of abuse. And so for the last 3 years, I've been rebuilding my life. It took a while because I didn't know where I was supposed to go, what I was supposed to do. All I knew was being a pastor's wife, being married, being a mother of 2 children, no degrees. All I could do was sing and play for churches. That's all I knew to do. But once I came out of the divorce, people wonder, why did you stay in a marriage for 7 years, for so long, with abuse? Because I hadn't transformed yet. I was still the Dorian that was quiet, that wouldn't speak, that wouldn't say anything. That's why my book is called Let's Talk It Out, because we stay in situations and we stay on jobs, we stay in relationships, we even stay in marriages, we stay in churches, we stay in so many situations because we don't know we don't know what to say, number one, to get out of it. And then we don't know, when we do know what to say, we don't know how to say it, who to say it to. We don't think we should say it. We don't know that I have feelings, I have thoughts, I have emotions, I need to express them, but the church might get mad, God might get mad, my family might get mad, I might lose people, I might lose friends, but I had to transform into that person that says, what about Dorian? What about what Dorian needs? I'm trying to please the church, trying to please the pastor, trying to please my family, but I have forgot about me. Even as a mother, I had to transform. First, coming out of the divorce, people say, why did you stay so long? Well, that last year I had to transform and say, you know what? You're not going to put your hands on me no more. Period. Yeah. That's just not going to happen. Yeah. And you have people, even in the church, saying, cover him. You know, you're first lady. You don't do that. You just sit on the front row and you smile. And that's just the devil trying to steal. No, the devil didn't hit me in the face. He did not. And he didn't push me into that wall. That was a man that did that. And so I had to get to a place where I had to transform my thinking that I don't deserve to be treated that way. That I do deserve better. I don't have to stay in this. And so I chose to stand up to him, to the church that I was at that point. They all turned their back on me and said I was, under the influence of the devil and all these different things. But I went away for a weekend. I said, God, if you never use me to sing, if you never use me to speak ever again, I just want to be in heaven and raise my kids, but I'm leaving this marriage. And they told me, know what God has joined together, let no man put asunder. And I told him, I said, God did not join us together. We did. We did this. I was there. Y'all weren't there. And I understand that you're trying to guide me in the right way, but I was trying to get out of my mom's house. He was trying to get out of his mom's house. I was first lady material. It was like a convenient type thing. Because, of course, I'm like, God hates divorce. We don't need to do that. But that 7th year, it was time for me to leave. And I said, if you never use me again, and that wasn't true because he did start to use me even more. My first job was at a church that a lot of you probably still attend right now. I was a praise and worship leader over there. And they gave me a job, and he used me a whole lot more than he did before. And even then, I just, started living life. I had to go live with my mom. We didn't have anywhere to go, just me and my kids. We were living in one room, my old room, for 5 years, trying to rebuild my life, just trying to rebuild where I've come from, and finding Dorian. Because even as a mother, I had to transform. Everything was about them, my kids, my kids, my kids. Yes, there's a place for that, but I had to transform and say, you know what? Today, I've set this day aside for me. If you need a ride to your friend's house, I'm not doing it. I'm staying right here in this house because we can't lose ourselves in jobs, friendships, relationships, even in marriages. You have to remain who you are, because you'll end up resenting the people that you're around. You'll end up resenting your children. You'll end up resenting the church, because I gave my life to the church. Everything I did, I was always in the church, always serving this person, always doing this, always doing that. That's why my brand is I Am Dorian. Because when people come to you and they talk to you, they ask you what you do, and I understand that for conversation pieces, but I'm Dorian. I'm not a mother first, I'm not this, I'm not a first lady, I'm Dorian. That's who I am. And that's who I begin, and that's who I cultivate every single day. Those are just extensions of me. And my kids know, my daughter's here today. If I have set aside a day where I'm just gonna be me and do me, don't even come in my energy field asking me to take you to your friend's house. Because she already knows the answer. Now, if you get a ride, that's great. If your friend is on the way to where I'm going, that's great too. And so what I've been doing for the last 3 years, just like Ms. Jansen was saying, when I was in that marriage, I couldn't do anything. Couldn't have friends, couldn't have relationships, couldn't go to school. All I could do was play for the church. So I went back to school. I'll be 40 this year. The last couple of years, I went back and got my bachelor's degree, got my master's degree, got certified in a lot of different things. My album is coming out this year, my second book called Finish It, because I had to stop all of that. I had to stop doing all of that just to rebuild my life. And so I just want to encourage you today that if you do want to go get something, sometimes you have to transform into that person in order to be able to get it and even obtain it. Even my friendships, I had to transform into that, because it was always yes. Whatever they wanted, yes. Whatever they needed, yes. But I had to learn how to say no. I'm not going to spend 2 hours on the phone encouraging you and advising you on something that you're not going to even do anyway. Okay? I spent 2 hours talking to you about this. And here we are a year later. Girl, what am I supposed to do about him? The same thing I told you a year ago. And I wasted 2 hours that I can't get back, that I could have been investing in myself. And I'm not going to do that anymore. But that was a transformation in the way that I had to think. And so now, even just recently, 2 of my closest friends, I did what I call just like an evaluation. Do you think this friendship is balanced? Do you think you give more or I give more? Or, is it the same? And we found out that it wasn't. That they were taking more and I was giving more, because that was my issue. I was an overgiver. Just overgive. I just overgive. And I had to transform that and to make things balanced. And then people talk about mental health and mental illness, especially among Black people, because we're not balanced a lot of times. We're overdoing things and we get out of balance. So with my friendships and with my children, just as a person, I had to transform the way that I think. And that's why people look at me now and say, how is it that you can stand here and you can sing, you can do all this, but back then you weren't like that? It's all about transforming the way that you think. And I also bought my first house, my own house, just recently. Everything's in my name. I don't have to get a co-signer, but that took years of me transforming the way that I think, and also becoming a homeowner before I got there. So just think about the thing that you want. Think about the thing that you're trying to go get. Are you already there in your mind? Do you already dress the part? Do you already talk the part? Do you already act the part? Now, there are things that will keep you from getting what you need to get, like finances. The timing may not be right. But there are times that you have to actively transform the way that you think. That may mean putting down what mama taught me, what grandma taught me, even what sometimes the church may teach you, what the world teaches you, what society teaches you. I got to put that aside. Even when it came to dating, my goodness, Lord Jesus. It's been 8 years, and I said, okay, I ain't gonna deal with men no more. I'm done with that, because most of the men that I had dealt with were in the church. They were all ministers and preachers. I didn't have a lot. I was married for 7 years, and the woman before that was a minister. And they all did me dirtier than any man in the world probably ever did, just to be honest. I'm just being honest, I'm just being transparent. And so I was like, I made a pact with my daughter. Right when we moved into our new house, I said, let's make a pact. And I know this was wrong, because I've already corrected it, like Ms. Rainey was saying about when we have successes, that's great. When we have failures, on that too. I'm like, let's make a pact. Mama, I'm just gonna be about my money. I'm just gonna be about my paper. I just bought us this big old house. I'm gonna focus on, just working, and we're not gonna deal with men. And she was like, okay, cool, because she wasn't trying to fool with it either. She was like, I don't want nobody else up in here anyway. So, the only man that she's known has been her dad. And so we made a pact, we're not gonna deal with men, we done with that. Then God sent somebody. We had a deal, yo. We had a deal, you know? We had a deal. And she was the one that introduced me to him. I'm like, Vera, we had a deal. What is he? She's like, I don't know, Mom. I don't know. I just think you should go out with him. He's interested. And God used him. We're just friends now, but it was 2 years ago. God used him to open me back up to that. Because I couldn't just close off my heart just because of something. That's my timer. That's my time. I want to make sure I'm obedient. I'm gonna wrap it up. I just wanted to. I said it wasn't okay for me to make that vow and that pact with her and to put my pain on my daughter and say, you don't deal with men. It's just gonna be us, me and you for life. You know, I have a son too. It's just gonna be us. And it wasn't okay for me to do that. And so God sent him to open me back up to bring about healing, even though we're just friends, just to bring about healing. And he actually was the one that got me back into music because I put it all down. I put the church down, I left the church, put the music down, put the writing down. I turned away from everything and I just went and got me a secular job because since I was 15 years old, I've been playing in the church. All the way till I was 35 years old. That's all I did was play for a church. And so when I got out of the marriage, I didn't have anything. And so then I said, okay, this is what we're gonna do, this is how we're gonna live. I haven't been singing for 3 years. I just started singing again last August of 2018. So for 3 years, no music, no ministry, no speaking. Got off of Facebook, got off of all social media platforms. I just got back on August for the purpose of the music and stuff, but I just turned away from all of it. But God used him to bring healing and to open me back up to the possibility. So now I'm open. Okay? I'm open, but I'm also healed and also continually healing things that happen. But and I corrected that with her. I said we don't need to live like that. We don't have to bring that pain. And so that I had to transform my way of thinking with relationships when it came to finding that person. Because I was just like this. He's got to be Christian. He's got to be saved. He got to know the word. He got to be serving. He got to be submissive to the pastor. And when I look back on the last, the 3 main relationships, all of them did that and put their hands on me and there was somebody else. I'm like, okay, what am I missing here? What is it? What do I need to open up? What do I need to do? I have to transform my way of thinking to say, God, I just want the person that you have for me. And I don't need to put stipulations on what they need to be because they may not. And to be honest, this guy from 2 years ago, he didn't really go to church, but was so kind and respectful and loving. He had a relationship with God, but he wasn't a minister type like I've always been used to. And so I just want to encourage you in that you have to transform the way you think. And so now I'm open to relationships, I'm open to music. And all I did before was praise and worship music, Christian music. I had to transform that because when I got back on Facebook, the first song I sung was, what's the song?
In the water, something about
the water. I was born by the river. Yeah. I was born by the river. Somebody asked me to sing that as a cover because one of their loved ones had passed. And I was like, I don't know that song. All I know is Take Me to the King and all the rest of this. I don't know that. And so he's like, I want you to sing it and post it on there. And he posted it. I didn't have Facebook. He posted it. And I got upset because I'm like, I'm not ready to get back out there. I'm not ready for people to ask me where I've been. I'm not ready for people to ask me why you're not singing, why you're not in the church, where you at, what church you go to. I wasn't ready for that. But God, again, used him to push me. And he posted that. And there was some feedback. And, people were like, okay, what is going on? I put my keyboard like in storage. I haven't played my keyboard in five years. It was put away. I didn't even, look at it. And so I had to pull it out to actually play it, and he recorded it. So I was wondering, what is he doing? What is God doing? And he said, this time around, I want you to sing about love. I was like, oh goodness, here we go. Because all I've known is Christian music. That's all I've ever sung. And he said, well, I'm love. And people, especially in the church, need songs about love, about relationships, how to relate to each other. Because that's why we have so many divorces. That's why we have so many issues. Because all we want to do is be in the church and sing the church and just sing to God, but then we don't have anything to nurture our relationships here. Okay? And so balance. I was not balanced. And so now the album that I will be dropping this year is about relationships, about wholesome relationships. Something that you can sing with your spouse, with your person. Okay? And I'll end with this. I got even criticism about that when I came back. You know, like, what are you doing? Why aren't you singing praise and worship anymore? Don't forget your anointing. Don't forget the glory of God on your life and things like that. And I asked this one guy, I said, well, are you married? He's like, yeah, I'm married. I said, well, when you and your wife have special time, what do y'all listen to? How great is our God? I mean, what are you going to do? And he's, you know, I said, and he was about to get engaged. And I said, so what are you going to play on your honeymoon? How great is our God? He was like, well, because he was telling me, you're not singing songs of Zion. I said, okay, but Zion's not going to be there on the honeymoon. I mean, God will be present, but I'm sure she's not going to hear that. And so that's what God is calling me to provide for the body of Christ, is songs that you can listen to with your person. And not only that, when I started to transform, I lost some family members, I lost some friends, close, I'm talking about immediate family, sister type thing, like, well, I'm not with what you're doing. So I wrote a song about that. Because some of us haven't talked to certain family members in years. But it's a song about, you know, I have nothing in my heart but love for you. It's not a song that you may hear on the stage on Sunday morning. But that's where God is leading me. And so that's part of my transformation, is to bring healing in those areas. And that's probably why I went through so many things that I went through in my relationships, so I can provide that. And so I think David and Tamala Mann are doing something similar, where they're providing, you know, songs for people in relationships. So that's a little bit about me. I am Dorian. Woo! And my 50 album. The album will be coming out. They'll be coming out together, because it's about basically what I've just talked to you about, my journey and where I've been for the last 3 years. So the book and the album is set to come out in the summertime. So thank you for your time.